had a wonderful time with friends in California and enjoyed many different experiences. And we learned about multiculturalism. And America is the country of multiculturalism, but even in this country, people have prejudice and discrimination. We learned the tragedy that our prejudice caused. So in our group, we discussed how can we achieve multiculturalism. And we will discuss 3 things to achieve multiculturalism: understanding others, and accepting others, and living peacefully. Then we will discuss what we learned next.
I'm going to talk about academic program highlights. We had 2 classes, Linda's class and Jacob's class. First, I'll introduce Linda's class. In this class, we learned how to speak and prepare for this final presentation. We spoke about many kinds of topics. For example, what did we think about site visit, like Getty Museum, Japanese American Museum, Venice Beach, and so on. Linda advised us to use transition words and to be careful whether our voices are good for our room size. I thought it was very difficult to speak for 1 minute without script, but we became better because we practiced many times in the class. Next, I'll introduce about Jacob's class. We enjoyed his class very much. Usually, in Japanese classes, only teachers speak, but in this Jacob's class, we students talked with each other. For example, we talked about American food and experience, like this. First, we think by ourselves. Next, we share the idea with our group. At last, we announce the idea to everyone and understand new ideas. We could understand multiculturalism through such wonderful classes. Thank you.
Next, I will tell you about 2 site visits we visited. First, on September 6th, we went to Venice Beach, and some of us went to the ocean and played surfing, and buried in the sand and played volleyball. What I'm glad to see was many subcultures around the street. I could feel so many differences from Japanese. We seldom see the Mexican food in Japan, but in the US, we can eat it almost everywhere. And we saw some African people playing music. Their raps were very good, and Asian tattoo shops and street basketball. For Japanese, those foreign Asian tattoo shops are very interesting. I could find many things from different countries that shows the American diversity of culture. I think Venice Beach is one of the best places to experience the multiculturalism. And next. On August 27th, we went to the Museum of Tolerance. We saw the discrimination against black people, women, and the Jews. They are discriminated against just because they are different from the majority or the strong group. In my opinion, ignorance and feeling of the contempt and sense of superiority lead to the tragedy and the discrimination. These are just like children's bullying, I think. And for its solution, we should know and understand the others better and pay them some respect and accept. And there was a man who was against discrimination. He is Martin Luther King Jr. He made a very famous speech, "I have a dream." In that, he insisted peace of all the human beings. Now, he insisted peace of all the races and the importance of the content of us, not the color of the skin. There are two sentences.
Yes, sir.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold the truth to be self-evident, that all men are equal. And the second, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of skin, but the content of their character. I'd like you to remember these words when you face the prejudice or discrimination. Thank you.
We could find a lot of differences. Especially, we are interested in American food culture. There are a lot of Mexican, Italian, and Chinese restaurants in the US. Also, Japanese food is popular. Japan is very far from the United States, but Japanese food is popular. We could see Japanese restaurants everywhere. When I went to San Diego, I saw that lots of people were waiting for the sushi restaurant every day. In addition, we can see Japanese seasonings like soy sauce, sake, and teriyaki sauce at the supermarket. I had the opportunity to eat them because my host mother likes Japanese food, so she often uses it. And my host father works at the sushi restaurant, so he brings sushi sometimes. From this, I felt that Japanese culture has taken root in the lifestyle in the US. However, it is not exactly the same as Japanese one, because we cannot see this type of sushi in Japan. So this is no longer Japanese sushi, it's American culture. There are American original foods like California roll. In brief, Japanese food culture is not temporary fashion, but it is blended into the American culture. They change the food to suit themselves. I think a new culture is produced when different cultures are put together like this. Through food, the United States creates diversity.
We talked about what we learned, and we concluded how to achieve multiculturalism. And we think understanding is first step, because our misunderstanding and ignorance cause discrimination and prejudice. So it is important as first step. Next, we think accepting is second step. This is center of multiculturalism, but we think multiculturalism is not only accepting other cultures. In order to keep multiculturalism, it is important that many cultures live peacefully. For example, traditional cultures, subcultures, and foreign cultures. So we think that these three things are important. Finally, what should we do when we go back to Japan? First, try to understand other cultures. If we do this, we can expand our world. And second, tell our experience and opinions to our friends and families. By doing this, we can expand their understanding of multiculturalism. So we would like to do these two things, actually. Thank you for your attention.
Beautiful.
Do you have any questions? Thank you.